the latest on that developing story, news of 21 girls being released from Boko Haram. Now, more Nigeria-related news. The President, Muhammadu Buhari, is currently embarking on a 3-day official visit to Germany. Buhari is expected to hold discussions with German Chancellor Angela Merkel on various shared interests between the two countries. Now, these include further cooperation on security, trade and economic ties. The two leaders are also set to discuss the migrant crisis and the rehabilitation of Nigeria's northeast after Boko Haram was driven out. President Buhari will participate in a business forum with leading German companies already active in Nigeria, as well as other prospective investors. Now, shortly after his inauguration last year, Chancellor Merkel invited President Buhari to attend the G7 summit in Germany. Well, let's bring you more now on this state visit. CCTV's Deji Badmus joins us again from Lagos, and we're also joined from Berlin by our very own Guy Henderson. Deji, let's start with you. What is the significance of Buhari's visit to Germany?
Well, Lindy, it's significant for two basic reasons. First is that the government is hoping that it would use this opportunity to attract foreign investment now from Germany. Of course, as you know, Nigeria needs it very badly, especially now that the country is in a recession. And the government is also hoping that it would be able to use the opportunity of this visit to call attention to the Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast, even though the government says that insurgency has been defeated. But the government is dealing with a serious humanitarian crisis in that region. So the president is hoping that he'll be able to use the visit now to seek the assistance of Germany to help in addressing the humanitarian crisis in the northeast of the country as regards the situation of the IDPs. And of course, there's no question at all that Nigeria would also be seeking the assistance of Germany in the fight against Boko Haram. And of course, as you know, the German Chancellor too has in recent times been touring some African countries seeking their assistance now to help check the flow of immigrants now from Africa to Europe. So I believe that will also be on the cards for President Buhari.
Well, Guy, let's bring you in here now. As we just heard Deji say, we know, of course, that German Chancellor Angela Merkel has just completed a 3-nation tour on the African continent. Certainly seems like a very keen interest right now in African affairs. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, it's been a very Africa-focused week for the German Chancellor. Yesterday, 24 hours ago, she welcomed the President of Chad, Idriss Déby. Thursday evening, President Buhari will arrive here, talks taking place on Friday. But she's also just completed, over the weekend and the early stages of this week, a 3-country tour through Africa. It's her first multi-country tour through Africa since 2011. She stopped off in Mali, Niger, Ethiopia. Even earlier in the year, and in recent months, other senior German political figures, including the Interior Minister, had made other trips to several other North African countries, Morocco and Tunisia included. Just to give you a couple of examples which might demonstrate the focus for the Chancellor during this sort of Africa-focused period. In Mali, during her visit there, she reiterated Germany's support for the UN peacekeeping mission in Mali. German soldiers contribute about 550 or just over 550 soldiers to that UN peacekeeping mission. And in Niger, the German Chancellor also pledged a significant amount of aid money and extra backing in terms of fighting people trafficking in Niger, because about 90% or more than 90% of the migrants making their way to Libya and across the ocean to Europe are thought to go through Niger. So it is very much terrorism, the threat of terrorism and the refugee crisis that has put particularly North Africa right at the top of not just Germany, but the European Union's agenda as well.
Well, Deji, let's bring you back in here again. When it comes to these specifics around Germany-Nigeria ties, you have, of course, mentioned that investment is a key topic, as is Boko Haram. But what kind of key commitments will Buhari be looking for during his visit to Germany?
Well, I think one of the key commitments President Buhari will be looking for, and the government has actually said that, is to secure the assistance of Germany in addressing the plight of the IDPs. I'm talking about the internally displaced people now in the northeast of the country. As you're aware, the Boko Haram insurgency has displaced about 2 million people, and UNICEF not quite long ago came out to say over 1 million people are at risk of dying of starvation. So the government needs every assistance it can get, and it's hoping that Germany will be able to help. We also know that President Buhari would be meeting with business leaders now, German business companies in Germany. Of course, some of them are operating here, but what the presidency has been saying is that the president will be speaking with them to sort of upscale their investments now in Nigeria, and that the president will be seeking to lure new investors from Germany to come to this country. Fact is that Nigeria needs foreign direct investment at this moment to be able to walk its way out of recession. So those are the key things that the president would actually be seeking to achieve now from this trip. Lindy?
And Guy, of course, we know that Germany is getting ready to assume the leadership of the G20 bloc, taking over, of course, from China. Many will be wondering just what kind of role Germany is set to play then in the development of Africa in the context of the G20.
Well, historically, Germany actually has a relatively small level of influence in Africa, but certainly during its G20 presidency, it's expected that it's really going to be looking to increase that for the reasons I've mentioned. The fact that the German Chancellor, ahead of her visit, has really been stressing to Germans that she sees a direct link between their own living standards and stability in Europe and the living standards and stability in countries, not just in Africa, but across the Middle East as well, and all those countries around Europe that have been causing so much instability inside Europe as well. Germany has one of the biggest aid budgets of any country in the world. That's increased dramatically, the biggest increase in German history in 2016. And it is expected that quite a big portion of that increase is going to be going towards not just Nigeria, but other North African countries as well. But it isn't just about aid development, and Deji had touched on this as well. It's about business. It's about investment opportunities. Yes, Buhari has a business delegation here in Berlin, but also for German companies looking to invest in Nigeria as well, because Germany has a very aging population. Its domestic demand is actually quite weak, and despite the fact that Nigeria in the short term might be in a recession, has this very young population, as do other North African countries, or African countries generally, and for that reason it is still seen in the long term and medium term as a key investment opportunity for German companies.
All right, we will leave it there. Thanks very much to both Guy Henderson, live for us there in Berlin, and Deji Badmus in Lagos.